I'm Shane Nyland, and my co-host is Blake Musser. And these stories you're about to hear are from Weapons Company, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, 1st Marine Division, about the events surrounding and directly from the mouths of the people who were in Ramadi, 2004. All right, man. Well, tell everybody who you are and what platoon you're with.
My name is Blake Pepper. I was with Mobile Assault Platoon number 3.
All right. What rank were you when we were over in Ramadi? I can't remember.
Lance Corporal.
You were a Lance. That's right.
Yep. I was one of the main machine gunners. First half of the tour, I was behind the 50, and then I switched over to the Mark 19.
I feel like there was a lot of that, a lot of swapping back and forth between roles and everything. Did you stay in the gun the whole time?
Yep, the entire time.
And with the same team too? Or when you switched guns, did you end up getting a new team?
Yeah, I was with Sergeant Conde was actually my vehicle commander.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the 50. And then before he got blown up, I was somehow not on that gun. I was on Mark 19 in a different vehicle. So I don't know what kind of fate or whatever, just swapping,
right?
Vehicles. Yeah, I feel like I probably should have been in that same vehicle that he got hit on.
Yeah, that is unusual. But sometimes that happened with us too. We would just reshuffle and be like, all right, man, just jump in the truck. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that's what happened. But you guys were out all night that night. And so you may have just reshuffled in the morning on the way to chow, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember Captain Weiler wanted us to go on one last IED patrol before we went to breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what it was. But yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to get into the heavy stuff right away. But
this is good. We just go wherever, bro. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
So you were in Conde's truck initially. Who else was in that truck?
See, Ortiz, little Mexican dude, was a driver.
Yeah.
Let's see, Valenzuela, older guy.
I forgot about Valenzuela. Yeah.
I think Corporal. My goodness, I'm blowing another Hispanic dude. Corporal.
See, this is when you start to feel old when you're
Vigil.
Like,
I think it's Vigil. Yeah, Vigil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Vigil was in that truck. Yeah. And then I think it might have been Privitar.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of goofy dude, but
and
Knackers, I think Knackers might have been in that vehicle too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So were you guys in a highback? That's a lot of dudes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was called Old Yeller because it was yellow, had a pedestal mount, and and it actually got a couple of Purple Hearts too because it took a couple of rounds in the vehicle itself too, and somehow it kept on. It didn't miss the engine block or something, but yeah.
When did
I think most of the platoon?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think most of the platoons had a tan vehicle that ended up becoming a little bit more of a target, and got blown up several times.
Yeah, it might not be true, but I think I don't know if somebody might have accidentally hit it with a round, like friendly fire. But I'm not going to name any names, just for may or may not have been an officer. I don't know. But like I said, I'm not naming any names.
That sounds about right.
But yeah, I remember starting out in Kuwait and taking all our vehicles in that huge convoy. I'm sure you guys did with your platoon too. I was the lead vehicle with our platoon commander, Gunny. I think it is Crutchfield.
Crutcher? Yeah, Gunny Crutcher.
Crutcher, yeah, I knew it, yeah. And so I was literally just remember just on the open highway with 100-something vehicles just chilling out, being the lead vehicle, the lead gunner. I had all this open view and stuff like that. I was like, wow, this is nuts.
Yeah.
So, that was a long, crazy drive up.
Oh yeah, it was. My gosh, we stopped halfway and slept outside or wherever we could. and then, got going again.
Yeah. What was the name of that place that we stopped? I'm trying to remember.
I have no idea. All I know is I saw the lights on the side of the highway. We pulled in, room enough for like all of our vehicles. I don't know how, but yeah.
It was set up as largely a private contractor resupply point, and they were coming into, it was a lot of the big resupply trucks were not driven by military. They were driven by private contractors, even early in the war. And that was their resupply point where they stopped to get gas and food and all that. And so I don't remember the name of that place, but that was what that place was. And that was why they were so, I don't know if you remember them at all. They're all super friendly. They came out and like brought us all like random pastries and shit. Like they were just super nice people, and trying to be like, hey, you guys are going to war, here, take some pastries. And like, yeah, it was awesome.
Probably they're used to the guys that came through the year before.
Yeah. All right. So you drove up with Gunny Crutcher, and then we got to Ramadi, obviously. And then did you immediately, you just stayed with the highback the whole time, or did you get reshuffled around a bit?
Yeah, no, I stayed with that highback. And then they finally gave us, we're, what was it? Probably like May or so. We started, like welding the armor, the plates to make it a little bit higher.
Haji armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you initially took the highback up, you didn't have any armor plates on the side?
No, not at all.
You guys are driving with a raw highback. There was a few of those that were just raw highbacks.
Did you guys not have those?
So we had armor plates. We had gotten a set of plates in Kuwait, and there was two different working parties that happened. One in Kuwait where we bolted on some armor that we got from the National Guard, and that was where we got the plates for our highback that we took. And then there was the second working party. I don't remember when it was, April, May, whatever it was, and we went, and a whole big group of us, like 15 people, went over to Junction City, and Gunny Malarkey traded some MREs for a plasma cutter and a welder, and we welded all that shit on.
I do remember staying one night at a welding shop. But I don't remember if that was beforehand. Yeah, maybe we did along the railings. That might have been it, along the railings. And then like later on, after all the IEDs and stuff, we took a bunch of casualties after the 6th April, and then even maybe before Savage got hit. I don't know if we started welding even higher, like pieces.
Yeah,
I don't.
We had started the company. I don't know about you, so I won't speak for you guys, but I know we had started putting on armor in April because it was a couple weeks before Savage got hit.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if I'd have to even look back at my photos to maybe even like compare.
Yeah.
But,
well, so I have a picture of your highback with Latham, Muniz, Cox, and McKenzie standing out in front of it, and there is no armor on it. And so I didn't really think about that, but now that you say it, like it's like there's somebody in the back that's pulling like a pack off of the truck, and it has no armor on it. It's just the stake bed. And so that's pretty fucking crazy, actually, considering what we ran up against.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I found it. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're a man.
I was just going to say that I had found a letter that I had written home recently, and actually talking about this armor, there was a dump off depot at Camp Victory that people that were convoying back down would dump their gear. And I was talking to a guy at the Chow Hall apparently, and he said that the rest of their convoy was going to come in at like either like 2100 or 2200. And they were going to go immediately to the dump off. And so Aponte and I like hid off into the back until they rolled in, dumped all their gear, and then drove up to the truck and like was able to grab like a ton of armor and brought it back. Otherwise, we would have driven up with almost nothing. Yeah. Like we were able to grab like something like, I think it's like 9 new tires and a bunch of armor. And it's wild to think about us like leaving that as we did, with as little gear as we did.
Yeah. I wish I would have taken more photos during that crazy week in April, just for like, historical, but like I felt like that wasn't the right time. Like I still remember a lot of things I could have taken pictures of. Like,
Did you have a camera?
Yeah, I had a camera. Like I had a bunch. I don't know if have you seen the photo of Sergeant Conde and like our platoon. We were at the government center that I took. They're holding up like IEDs and stuff. They're all like smiling, and I was like, "Hey, it's the IED." Well, I haven't been there, and I wanted to go, but in Quantico, there's a building called Conde Hall, and his dad like told me about it. Well, yeah, that picture is in like with a bunch of his other stuff.
That's cool.
And I'm like, holy cow! Like I realized I took that photo, but it was kind of weird and ironic that we took that photo, and
sure,
that's what gets them. But yeah, just and then another thing, like I said, like I kind of wish I took more pictures because then maybe I could have I can still remember it, but maybe later on the road down if we don't remember stuff, but I still got a lot of photos. But like after we were taking all the brass out, like I could have taken a picture of how many like spent rounds of 50 cal and ammo boxes in the back of my Humvee. I'm like, oh my, like that would have been nuts. I just remember like cleaning that up with a couple of guys and like how bad that hurt my ears. Like it was so bad. Like just the ringing and the tinging. Oh man, I can still to this day, like just think how piercing that felt. That really sucked. But I don't know.
Yeah, you guys were very busy, obviously. The first Battle of Ramadi, April 6th and 7th and 10th, that was the main 3 days. Some things happened on the 8th and 9th, but not much.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little about the April 6th?
Yeah, man, we can get into it.
Sure.
Yeah, I can kind of tell you like where, like kind of like from Map 3's perspective.
I'd love to hear your perspective. The official account, Golf Company went out midday and got ambushed off of Easy Street in the south side of the city. And Golf sent out a QRF of their own, but they got ambushed on the way to reinforce, and it did not work out. And so you guys were the next out of the gate, and you ended up not quite making it all the way to Golf before you were ambushed. And then the rest is that's my stage setting for you. Everything else is on.
All right, here goes. So I kind of was playing through this in my head earlier, just so I can like maybe try to remember some like good points. So obviously, from my perspective, like I couldn't see like every single like part of my platoon at certain points down the street. But
there's no way.
Yeah, like our platoon was QRF that day, and yeah, we got the call that Golf was in contact. So we immediately booked it out, and don't remember what street we were on, but we went and picked up Lance Corporal Letterman, who had got shot 76-2 right to the gut. He actually later on, I had his flak jacket with the two magazines that had like the round went through both magazines.
Yeah,
and just seeing that was just like crazy after all that. But so we picked him up. We were kind of like in a staging point at like a T intersection. My vehicle was like not all the way up to that intersection.
Yeah.
But then I was just manning the gun. Everybody was dismounted. We started taking some rounds. They're just kind of pop shots coming down the road. And so I went and talked to be like, hey, it was Sergeant Lachard. He was my section leader.
Yeah.
Like strong, tiny, short, little, strong, little black French guy. He was wild. And so I'm like, hey, Sarge, like they're shooting at us. What do you want me to do? He was like, well, shoot back. I was like, all right. I cranked that 50 back, and I just let a couple like burst down, and like a couple other guys that were up there, took a couple shots too. And that was my first, like, the feeling of that was just like, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared. I had butterflies in my stomach because I was so excited. And sometimes I told like some regular people that they're like, "Are you insane?" I was like, "No, we were just trained. That's how good our training was. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't scared. I knew the guys right next to me would do the same thing.
Yeah.
So they had my back. So we got they actually loaded up Letterman in my vehicle. So he's just laying right there. I don't know what kind of aid that he got. They bandaged him up. He was still conscious. He was conscious for the majority of the time. Yeah, he never lost conscious. So then we loaded up, and I think that's when we got the call about the other Gulf platoon in contact down Easy Street. And I'm glad you actually said that, because I was trying to remember the name of that street, but because I know it was off Route Michigan, just past the Saddam Mosque.
Yes.
So yeah, we rolled down Easy Street. We were going pretty kind of slow because we were like trying to look out for, trying to find the guys. All of a sudden, about halfway going down that road, there's like a little median, probably, I don't know, a couple feet wide. All of a sudden, from the other side of the road, out pops this, like, I guess you want to call him Iraqi dude. Had an AK, swung around. He was aiming it right at me, and he was shooting. But the dude's like, he sucked, obviously, because he was hitting the median. Like, all of his rounds were hitting like halfway across the road. I'm like, so like, it was like not even a split second. I told two guys that were sitting off to my left, I'm like, all right, get down, duck. It's like, because I'll start swinging that 50 cal barrel over to the left.
Yeah.
So our convoy stops about that same time. So we had about 3 or 4 heavy guns literally aimed right at this one guy. And so we started engaging. And then all of a sudden I see, like, I think 1 or 2 vehicles behind me. Lance Corporal Matthew Brown, rest his soul. Dude hits the guy right in the chest with a Mark 19 round. And I'm like, man, that was my guy. I was like, he shot at me first, but I'm just glad we just blew that sucker away. It was, and I don't know if there was any more that came out at the same time as him, but that's all I remember seeing is just one guy with an AK. Like, so I don't know if he was like the initial start, their little ambush. Yeah. So we blew him away, and then we just kind of kept rolling. Probably
you have to wonder what he was thinking. If he told his buddies, like, I'm going to go out there and shoot, you guys follow me, and nobody followed him.
Yeah.
He just got stranded.
Unless there might've been, but like from my vision, like that tunnel vision, that's
the only guy you
could
see. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I was just so baffled that the dude sucked that bad at like shooting. I was like, he must, but anyway, so then we continued on, and we got to like the end of that street. I don't remember what the name of like the next street is, but before we got there, there was a couple of almost like half-length like palm trees like blocking the road.
Yeah.
So right then and there, we knew there was something up. So like that was them like setting up their little ambush for whoever. I believe we got to the end, and I think we started taking more contact. So then I think we started moving back down that road where we came from. And then at that point, I think Gulf Company finally, from the side of the road we were on, finally like linked up with us. And that's when this is kind of where it gets like kind of cloudy, because like stuff was happening so much, like so quick, and it's like there was just stuff happening everywhere.
True definition of the fog of war, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember like for a little bit before I think we moved down, my vehicle was the far vehicle, like holding security down. And I remember like rounds coming down the road, like pinging, almost like ricocheting off the road. And the only thing I kind of did, I was standing up tall in the gun. All I kind of did was like kind of shrug my shoulders like down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just so I didn't, maybe in case the rounds started coming up, I didn't really.
Yeah. Little smaller target.
Yeah, just a little bit. That was probably the only time I, in my head, was like, all right, I'm just going to be a little cautious. And so at some point we ended up back in the middle of Easy Street. And then we had Humvees and guns basically like, all over the place. So everyone dismounted, like the guys that in our platoon that weren't either the driver or the gunner, everybody dismounted and they started like going into houses. This is kind of where like my perspective, like I don't know exactly what happened, like McKenzie, Conde, and all like their teams, they kind of went in. I know they engaged a few people. That's about the time when Sergeant Conde got shot through the shoulder.
Yeah.
During all that, my vehicle was staged kind of in the middle. Golf company brought like some of their casualties. It was a PFC Halal who had gotten shot. I was standing in the Humvee when they kind of brought him up, and they loaded him up into my Humvee. So I'm still like manning the gun while he's, they got his body like sitting literally right there next to my feet. And like, to this day, I won't tell anybody like what I saw. It was just, I didn't know who it was until I got back to, we dropped all the casualties off at Charlie Med. And like, then I found out who it was. And I was like, man, I went to SOI with him and, had some conversations and, stuff with him. He was a really good guy. But
that's crazy,
yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm. And so after we picked him up, the craziest thing, I was just like still manning the gun, and trying to engage, like, if there's any enemy coming around. But for the most part, I was just like holding security down because they're bringing out more casualties, guys that got shot, or like one guy blocked a grenade, like basically from blowing up his face. And so he had his hand bandaged up. But before that happened, I do remember like a loud screeching, but anyway, there was basically an RPG like went right over my head. I wasn't sure how close. I kind of like looked, but there was like a palm tree or something, so I couldn't really see where it was coming from.
Yeah.
I hear this loud like sound, and so I freaking like ducked. I wasn't sure where, and then all of a sudden it goes and explodes, like hits a building like right on the other side, and I'm just like, oh crap. And yeah. So for some evidence later on that deployment, we went down Easy Street. I had to take a picture of
the impact site.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure how much higher above it was from my head, but I was like, man, I got to get evidence of that. That was, that was crazy. But, so then we loaded up some more casualties, I think from Golf Company. I think I still remember their names. Another guy named Ortiz had his hand bandaged up. Let's see. My gosh, now I'm Jonah.
The fact that you can remember their names at all is impressive to me.
Yeah.
Were these all guys that you went to infantry school with?
No. They just happened to be loaded up in my Humvee. And actually, Gentile, guy from Golf Company.
Yes.
He's the one who got shot in the jaw.
I know him very well. Yeah. And know his story well.
Well, yeah. And, so I helped him up. It was somebody else like kind of helped him up. Yeah. I'm just like sitting here seeing like dude literally like has a hole in his jaw, and he's just sitting there like just spitting blood out and stuff. And I'm just like the whole rest of the time we're there, I'm just like, trying to give him like words of encouragement. Like, hey man, stay with me. You're good. Like, some of the stuff I can't even really like remember, just kind of just trying to be positive while I'm sitting there behind the gun. And it's just, so after we loaded all of them up, we didn't stay long. Thankfully, we had a couple of escorts.
I was gonna ask you and actually kind of pin you down there for a minute. How long do you think you were out there while they were loading everybody up?
Oh man,
it's hard to tell because I know it feels like 10 years and 10 minutes at the same time.
I know. Probably at least 30 minutes.
Okay.
If
that's not too bad, especially when you got somebody bleeding.
Yeah. Well, and I'll like to backtrack a little bit. I think just before they loaded those casualties up, this is the one thing I remember I will never like ever forget. Like after Conde got shot in the shoulder, Doc Dialka was in the vehicle right in front of me, in the back, bandaging him up. I don't remember whose Humvee he was in, but it was close enough for me to see and me to hear that he was like, "Hurry up, Doc! I got to get back out there." And I'm like, "That's just the type of person that Conde was." Like, dude was like, "I got to get back out there. Like, my boys need me." And then I think he was quoted saying like something like the enemy was laughing at him because they shot him. Yes. And he's like, "Yeah, they're not gonna get the better of me," or something to that effect. Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly who Conde was."
Very much a lead from the front, Sergeant, for sure.
Oh yeah, like for him to take a bunch of us, boots, like and train us just like we had been, with him for the last 2+ years, and like still give us a little bit of respect, but yet put us in our place. That definitely helped out the cohesiveness of our platoon, because we didn't have a lieutenant. We didn't have like everybody else, so we were kind of like a misfit platoon. Yeah. And him and like those three sergeants kind of like really held us together.
Yeah, it was an interesting chain of command structure and there was you and Sledgehammer did not have a lieutenant. You guys had Gunny Crutcher as your platoon commander, and you had Staff Sergeant Rapazzo as your platoon sergeant, and then Sergeant Williams, Sergeant Conde, and Sergeant Lesarge was your chain of command. I mean, those are people holding very high billets for the experience and ranks that they were.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And how many trucks were you running? Do you remember? Was it 4 or 5?
I believe 5. Yeah, we had 5. We had, I think, 350s and 2 marks, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I remember. So the last guy was Corporal Hayes from Gulf Company, who I guess, he was up. I think he just got like shot in the wrist or the hand or something like that. But anyway, the Army Bradleys showed up, and I don't know the communication between them and us. Somehow they escorted us, because we had 5 casualties, and we went all the way to Charlie Med. But I think the rest of the platoon and Gulf Company like basically finished that little fight shortly after, because they weren't behind us for too long. And I wasn't even thinking of like, oh man, we just left like the rest of our platoon behind. I was too busy like with all these casualties in my Humvee to even like really think about that.
Right. So the Bradleys escorted you back to Junction City?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we got them unloaded at Charlie Med, and then we pretty much I think it was just myself and Ortiz, like my driver. We just kind of waited around. Probably not even like 30 minutes later, and everyone else showed up there.
No, that's good.
And none of our guys, I mean, other than Conde getting shot, I don't think any of our other guys like really had a scratch on us, which is just nuts.
Yeah. I remember a few guys taking some shrapnel and stuff like that, but nothing. I don't remember any. They were all walking wounded, if anything. Nobody was seriously injured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our company, like everybody else, like did have like a lot of like minor scratches and stuff like that, but like I still don't know how like I made it out without a scratch, just being so exposed like up in the turret and just in the highback like that too,
especially wide open. Crazy. And so you made it the whole deployment without being wounded?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh. I don't have an enemy marksmanship badge.
No Purple Heart for you. Well, it's interesting who got one and how, and a lot of people, it's random. Some people got 2, 3, earned 4, and only got 1. Mm-hmm. And a lot of interesting stories surrounding that as well. It's interesting that you did not get one as well, especially being in the highback and being a gunner. Mm-hmm. So then you guys were done on the 6th. You went back to Hurricane Point after rallying at Charlie Med, and then what'd you do overnight? Clean up
You
the
know,
trucks and retool?
yeah, pretty much. Just refilled everything up and then, went back out there.
I was going to say, then the 7th was just as busy.
Yeah. I don't remember as much from the 7th, but I do remember the biggest thing about the 7th is like we went back out and linked up with Golf Company again because they went back out in that same neighborhood.
It was similar. You guys were a little further down. You were closer. And this is from the official accounts. You tell me if I'm wrong. This is just from the official. I wrote things down so that way I wouldn't forget it. The 7th, the XO actually joined your platoon, Lieutenant Wells, and you guys all went out. You were the first out again, and you guys went and linked up with Golf near the soccer fields in the south of the city. The fields, not the stadium. The stadium was further out by combat outposts, but there was a huge bunch of I don't know, just fields by themselves that had soccer goalposts.
Yeah. Yep. And like I said, it's a little the leading up to it, I don't quite remember, but I do remember like the coolest part of I guess if you want to call it cool, but was we actually were able to right alongside Golf Company. I don't remember what platoon or whatever, but they were just kind of bounding from street to street. And the coolest thing that what we did on our Humvees is we were kind of like going back and forth. One of us would like cover the road, cover the street with our gun, and then we'd almost like, and the next one would cover, and then we would basically were covering the 11s as they bounded down the street, and just to kind of work in like connection with them. That was just an amazing process, just going down this whole street. And I mean, if somebody was taking pops at us, I was just sitting up there behind the 50 and just like letting a burst or two down the road and like seeing these 0311s just like, oh man, get some. And I was like, yeah, I got you.
I think your first words are right. That's pretty fucking cool. That's the way vehicle combat's supposed to be. We didn't get to practice that all the time. Oftentimes you end up being a modified gun position or an 0311 yourself, but that's pretty fucking cool. I didn't get to experience that, so I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like I just remember like me and the other gunners and the drivers, it was like we were such in sync that it was almost natural. Like the gunners were hollering like, hey, I got this one, you get the next one, or whatever the communication was. Like, yeah, it just seemed like it was just like awesome. And that's the coolest part about. And then I think we were bounding going back towards combat outpost. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing I remember, I was like the very last vehicle in the convoy down Michigan. And so what I had to do, I had to like turn my gun all the way to the rear. I had to sit almost like on a little bar on the roof.
I was going to say, you're sitting on the roof. Yeah. That's some true cowboy shit.
Yeah, my feet weren't even touching the ground. I'm just like, I was like, hey, that was pretty cool until like we all got to combat outposts, and then I guess we chilled there for a little bit and then went back. But yeah, other than that, I don't remember a whole lot about the 7th. Like that's, yeah.
I love that you brought up that. I completely had forgotten about that. Every once in a while, when you're in the thick of it, having like almost a telepathic link with everybody else that you're fighting with, I got to experience that myself too, of that. And it's just one of the coolest experiences, like where you again, you're not on the comms, but you just kind of almost like, where everybody's at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was me, Lance Corporal Kelly, Brown, Gordon, and I think there was another one. But we were just crazy.
It's awesome.
That's awesome. Now, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, you'll have to remind me. I think so. There was a small cordon search on April 8th. It was called Operation County Fair, is what we called it. And I don't think your platoon went out. I think they actually had you guys stay back for that one. And I think we did some outer stuff, and the 81s did the actual search. And, we found some weapons, we found some guys, but nothing And we found one of the field hospitals where there was lots and lots of wounded. But outside of that, we didn't find much else. And then on the 10th was the first big, what we called a bug hunt. And that was when I know you guys were out there for that one because literally everybody in the whole battalion was out for that one.
Oh, yeah. We were out by, I think, Nova.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. I remember who was with us. The XO might have been, I'm pretty sure he was with us too. But biggest thing I remember going out there is we were in the palm groves. There was this house out there, and all of a sudden we took a couple of the RPG shots, but they were from high up, and yeah, I guess these two guys were like up in the palm trees, and they just like shot a couple RPGs down at us. I guess they didn't impact they didn't hit us directly. But then all of a sudden we dismounted, and I don't remember what squad it was, but they went towards this house. And all of a sudden, from what I remember, is them come back from the house off to my left. I don't remember who else was with them. All I remember is seeing Cummings. When Cummings turned and he was running back is when all of a sudden a guy from the far end of the house like opened up on him, and Cummings took a round to the just under his sappy plate on his side. Like it punctured his lung.
I remember that.
Yeah, the split second, like he hit the deck. Oh my gosh. I unloaded my entire freaking can like in that vicinity of that house. And I could tell you like how fast, like I ripped that box open, threw another one in there. And I did that. I went through 3 cans of ammo of 100 rounds of 50 cal in probably less than 5 minutes. It might've been less than that. Like I was just so pissed. Like I seen him fall, and I'm like, oh, I just started laying into that house. And I don't remember what other vehicles, because the ones that were farther off to the left, they couldn't engage. But I know it was me and at least a Mark 19 that was like shooting at the house. So the suppressive fire that I laid down they were able to pick them up and, carry them to the Humvees. And then as soon as we loaded them up, like we booked it to Charlie Med while, I think it was Doc Dialco. Yeah. Yeah, it was, because he made a comment about Cummins, I guess, when he was like patching them up. He was like, "Oh God, man, you stink." I don't know whether like the sweat or whatever, but like that's all I can remember him saying, like in a joking like manner. I'm like, dude, like because I wasn't in the vehicle. He didn't put Cummins in like my vehicle, but yeah, back at Charlie Med, he was like, "Man, dude stunk." But yeah,
we had been fighting for 3 or 4 days straight, so
yeah. Washing machines wasn't exactly priority that week. So from what I remember, we brought him to Charlie Med. I think they airlifted him because they sent him. He was gone for about a month.
That's what I remember. I remember him being gone for a month.
Yeah, he was gone for a month, so they had to have airlifted him to like Baghdad or something. I don't know. That's the only thing about like being like a lowly little lance corporal. I didn't get I wasn't privy to like all the the communication and all that type of stuff. It would have been kind of neat to like that. That would be the kind of reunion that I would like to have, is with like if most of like the higher ups there, we all kind of like get together and like, I don't know, just knowing all that type of information would be kind of neat. But
if we're lucky, that's the hope, is that some of those guys will come on this and tell that side of it. I mean, I can tell you from a sergeant's perspective, and I was often in the battalion headquarters and interfacing with the intel people and stuff like that, but I can't tell you their level. I can't tell you a captain's level or a major's level of what was actually going on. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But that's actually a really good point, in that you never had access to a radio. So you probably didn't hear all the things that were being called in, like the Army showed up. You don't know how they showed up, right? You linked up with Golf Company. I don't know how we linked up with golf company, but we did.
Yeah.
Did it seem disorienting, or did you just focus on your mission as a gunner?
Yeah. I think for the most part, I think that's all I could focus on was my job in my sector, just what I can control. We were fully trained, but I was still only 19 years old. That's all I knew. And so just based on instincts, the past couple of days, that definitely hardened us and like got our minds and our thought process like changed, obviously. And so I think we were more aware, like after that first contact, like our heads were definitely on more of a swivel for sure.
Yeah. Every day you went out after that, I'm sure you prepared for those same kind of fights, whether that was what you did or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But
did any other, we've talked about the big ones of the early April, but do any of the other missions stick out to you that you were a part of? Any of the other bug hunts or any of the hits that we did? Or
yeah, for sure. We were farther down in the palm groves on the outskirts of town, like way past combat outpost.
Okay.
When they had the Cobras showed up.
Okay.
And I think we had some vehicles that like actually got stuck out there. Mm-hmm. Was
the only actual time that we had close air support with Cobras was on April 10th.
Okay.
The only other time that air support was called in and tried to arrive was far later, and you wouldn't have seen them because the pilot got shot by small arms fire and they returned to Takata.
Yeah.
They never made it.
Okay. Yeah. So then when Cummings got hit, like that might've been at the tail end of all that. I'm hoping that was the same day.
It's all good, man. Still, the story was correct, whether you got the day right or not.
Yeah. Definitely a story, but like, cause I'm thinking now is when I don't know if it was Echo Company we went to go help, but we were way out like in the marsh field, like in between the palm groves. And I remember, oh my gosh, First Sergeant Mack was out there with a freaking shotgun. Big dude. Yep. And we at some point we were like coming back, and all of a sudden, like somehow in this tall brush, there was like a sniper. The only reason I know that because there was a couple of impact rounds like on the side of my Humvee, almost kind of where I'm like would have been standing behind the gun. And also there was a impact round on the driver's door. So like the dude was like within range. And so we kind of, I think it was me and two other vehicles. We were coming back when we had this sniper was like shooting at us. I just remember we kind of turned our guns to this open field and we weren't quite sure where it was at. We started shooting that direction. And then I think once there was no more rounds, like we weren't getting any contact, we went that direction with the Humvees, some on foot. And then we eventually found the dude and we got his sniper rifle. I have a picture of me holding that sniper rifle up.
Wow.
And so that was pretty cool too. And in the middle, like I said, in the middle of us like patrolling, somehow First Sergeant Mack was like by a tree. I remember him like we were kind of slowly driving past him. He's sitting there with his shotgun. I'm like, hey, what's up, First Sergeant? Yeah. I was like, this dude's badass. Like just out there, Well, that was pretty neat seeing him out there, and pretty sure Gunny Meraki was, I don't know how like headquarters, like their platoon or whatever was out there with us. Yeah. Maybe they were like, along with Captain Weiler.
They randomly attached out, and usually they spread themselves out. They usually didn't all stay in one big cluster. So like the CO would be with one platoon, the XO with a different platoon, and kind of doing different things. If all of them were out, and often it wasn't even all of them were out. They all had different roles and jobs. But on the 6th, the 7th, the 10th especially, and all the other big ops, they all went out with different platoons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why the only thing I couldn't remember if that happened before we were coming back down Route Nova, or if that would have been like a certain day. I'd have to maybe talk to some of the other guys that would.
Sure. If you remember Cobras, again, the only time we had Cobras on station was the 10th.
Oh, I remember like watching the Cobras and hearing them, and I was like, yeah, get some, because they were like, that was cool.
Yeah. What was interesting is they were firing and not firing at any actual targets. They were hitting nothing on the side of the river. because they were ordered not to fire in the city.
Yeah, well, still scared the crap out of the enemy, I'm sure.
Yeah, it scared me. So yeah, definitely. You're like, oh shit.
I was just glad they showed up because that was pretty neat.
Good show force.
Yeah. Yeah, Mustard, you asked about some other dates. I mean, I could go into more detail about like probably a couple more other
Sure,
times.
man. Whatever you remember, whatever you want to go through.
Yeah. Anything that pops out, or anything weird, funny, strange, any ghosts?
Now the funny stuff really didn't happen until like we were about to leave, but it's just goofing around and stuff like that. But oh yeah, no, the coolest, like another one of the coolest stories was, I believe it was July the 29th. We were escorting General Mattis through the city from, I think he was at Hurricane Point. I'm sure he probably started at Blue Diamond, and then somehow we escorted him. But also the coolest thing about that, we had battalion headquarters. So Sergeant Major Booker was there because I got video, because Oliver North's camera crew was riding with our platoon. Yeah. I had a camera guy literally like sitting in the seat right below me. So we had this big long convoy. This is the time where I was in a different Humvee. They actually gave us like those up armor Humvees by this time. I think I was in a green one.
You finally got an upgrade.
Yeah, no kidding. Which kind of sucked. They actually gave us those like soon after Sergeant Conde got hit.
Of course.
Which, yeah, if he was riding in one of these ones, yeah, it probably wouldn't have hit him. But we're just a little too late. Yeah, so we were driving. We left Hurricane Point, and I just remember it was hot as crap that day. Like I could feel the heat like just hitting my face. I'm just standing up in the turret. And so my gun was kind of pointed maybe towards like 2:00, because normally we just kind of, alternate what direction that we're pointing. And I was probably the middle of the convoy. And I see this Iraqi taxi, orange and white car, sitting off on the side of the road. It was kind of in a weird spot. So it kind of triggered like in my head, like this looks a little weird. And so as I'm watching it, it was probably about 50 yards at least, and we're slowly catching up to it. And as I'm watching the whole thing, I'm keeping my eyes on it. As soon as it leaves my vision, probably like half second later, like the sucker detonates, and yeah, like huge explosion, like right in between my vehicle and the next one behind us. Thank God, like it missed. And what I can remember is, on video, like all I can say is like I was yelling out, "It missed! F you! You didn't get us!" Yeah, I was just like so pissed at that time. Literally, all you can see is like the explode, like my leg, and you can like see it kind of like rocking a little bit. And then after that, like Sergeant Lachard's on the radio, like saying to whoever, like, "Yeah, it missed us." We all stopped the convoy. I think we kind of I don't know if the whole convoy stopped. I believe so. Maybe for a little bit. I would have hoped so. Made sure like, both vehicles were good. And then we kept going. And so, yeah, that was the loudest thing I've ever heard. Like it was so stinking loud. It was just, I don't know what they had in that thing, but it was, yeah, it was a loud boom.
I think I remember seeing that. That was on, Colonel North's War Stories show, right? There was the video, and it's Lachard. All you see is a dust cloud, and Lachard's on the radio, and he's like, VBIED, it missed, and he like throws the radio. And it's like, damn, he looks so mad.
Yeah, that was okay. So yeah, Oliver North, like he put that video out, and then my parents actually played that video. Well, because they had to bleep out like some stuff. My parents played that video at our church. Like, this is what my son's doing in Iraq. He's on Oliver North. Like, I was like, oh, that's kind of, this is just his leg, but I was like, but it was crazy. But okay, so then the convoy kept going, and then once we got to Saddam Mosque.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's when like all hell broke loose again. Like they started opening them up. I was on the left side. I was kind of near the back of the convoy at that point, but we were engaging like some buildings just before you got onto Easy Street.
Yeah.
It was probably like a 3 or 4 story building.
That was the library, I think. That was a library OP, but you guys ended up shooting through. Yeah.
Yeah. And so at that point, I was on the Mark 19 during that. And I started hitting that building with a bunch of Mark 19 rounds. I have also on the far right side, we had a couple vehicles that were kind of coming over on the right flank a little bit, suppressing it. And I got video footage of Latham videotaping himself while he's driving with Cummings up on the 50 cal, shooting at that building. And then Latham is literally saying, Cummings is back in the shit. Cummings is back in the shit. Like he's getting something. He's like, yeah. I was like, it was hilarious. Yeah. So I was back there, and the battalion headquarters vehicle was like right in front of me. I'm in the turret. All of a sudden I see Sergeant Major Booker pop his head up in the turret. And like, I don't know if he's got his sniper rifle or not, but his M14.
Yeah.
But yeah, like battalion sergeant major's just sitting there, like up in the turret, just like, all right, I'm gonna get me some more. It was just great. And had a couple of like little pogues that were kind of like hiding behind the Humvee or whatever. Must have been the driver or the RTO or whatever. All right, I guess like as we were engaging, at that point, we kind of kept the convoy like rolling, and I was like the second to last vehicle. And all of a sudden, like in the middle of the median, the road, I kind of look over my right shoulder a little bit, and I see like a pile of like some gas cans. I don't know how nobody else saw these, but I saw some gas cans in the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Sergeant Lashard, I'm like, hey, can I shoot those? And like all of a sudden he was like, I don't know if he took like some binoculars and looked, we couldn't see, but like he got the clearance for me to shoot. We just had to move one vehicle out of the way. So the convoy was going like, let's say east. Well, I was it was back more towards the west. So I kind of was facing the other direction. And I didn't know this, but Oliver North's camera crew, like, yeah, he was down there. I guess he videotaped it. And so my first burst, like, was a little high. And then, like, the second to last round of my next burst, like, I could see it flying through the air. And all of a sudden it hit it. And that humongous just fireball came from it. I was just like, holy crap. It was probably about maybe 40 yards from me or so. I could feel a little bit of the heat from it. So I don't know if you like still had have you ever seen the disc that they sent us of the 2-4 of that deployment?
Yeah.
But
yeah. I don't know where I have it, but I have it somewhere.
Yeah. That big fireball. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, that just briefly shows that was me like shooting that sucker.
Oh, that's awesome.
And,
that's awesome.
Like, and I didn't even know I just took a hunch and just like, what the heck, are these gas cans sitting here for? And so I was like, hey, let me shoot it. So
yeah,
just another one of those, like, I'm kind of curious or just an instinct type of thing. But yeah. So then after that, we ended up, the whole convoy went back to combat outpost, and I got a picture of map 3 and General Mattis. So that's, yeah, pretty sweet.
It's super awesome. Yeah. Cool, man. We were talking about, there were some funny things towards the end of the deployment. I'd love to hear some of those too. I remember we played dodgeball outside you guys' hooch and stuff. Like, I remember that shit was hilarious. I remember a lot of funny map 3.
I got a video of you wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. And what's, I forgot, it starts with an M.
Matroka?
Yeah, Matroka. Mm-hmm. And he says on there, oh, they're scared of the fucking mask man. And you're sitting here like your skinny ass was like throwing a dodgeball. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I just remember, it was great playing volleyball and horseshoes and stuff like on some downtime. But oh
yeah, I forgot about the horseshoe set. That's right. You guys had a horseshoe pit like right in front of the hooch.
Let's see. I don't remember what I have it dated on a photo. It's not funny, but it would be funny to us. You guys would the fact that how many of us idiots went outside when we heard mortars or rockets shooting off.
Oh yeah.
instead of taking cover. But we're all like, well, it's the ones you can't hear are the bad ones. So
yeah.
I mean, and then were you there when rocket hit one of those Conex boxes?
Oh yeah.
And like set on fire?
I was right next to it. We were getting on the trucks. Yeah.
Yeah, that was right across the street from our hooch, probably 50 feet, maybe.
Not far, right? Literally right across the road.
Yeah. And and then some other times before that, we're lucky that we put sandbags all along our back because it got peppered by a couple of rockets, like on the whole back side of our hooch.
Yeah, I was just flipping through some pictures the other day, and most of the hooches have like huge shrapnel marks on them where there's always stuff hitting right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a great one where there's an impact that's maybe 18 inches off the side of the wall between two of the hooch, between our hooch and I guess it would have been the company office. But anyways, that would have sucked because that was also when we still had the
soft cover.
Soft cover.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, tight flap just straight in.
Well, and I was thinking, like, even after they took those off, they put like like thin metal roof.
Yeah, it was like a shed roof. Yeah, it was nothing.
That was not
insulated shed roof.
That was not going to stop anything either.
Nope.
Well, we were like, oh yeah, we're so much more protected. Maybe it it helped if the air condition was working. Maybe it cooled off.
Right, it kept it a little cooler.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I got some video of us like hitting golf balls across the river.
Oh,
like trying to hit.
I forgot about that.
Couple guys like actually got it across over to Blue Diamond. Like I wasn't ever good at golf, but like
I distinctly remember that, sitting on the edge of the Euphrates and using, I think it was like a 1 wood or 2 wood to hit golf balls at the division headquarters where all of the generals were, hit the generals' offices with golf balls.
Probably just a motor pool, but
Yeah. That's awesome.
See, I don't know. Maybe you can
I don't know, man. That's a pretty good one. I forgot about that. I think I remember Silton hitting the building. That's what I remember.
Silton was pretty good at.
He was good.
Big dude was pretty good at hitting them golf balls.
I remember we got some tasers at one point and started doing some experiments on what tasers can do.
Nice. That's just training. I mean,
yeah.
Thanks, Big Wes.
If you like what you've heard, this is a multi-part episode. Make sure you listen to the rest of the story.